Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
You all ready for this?
This is a sham.
No.
Y'all, just stop.
Get real.
Welcome to DBL, everyone. Happy Friday.
Yeah.
Good Friday.
Are you in a hurry?
No, did I hurt
You had somewhere to be. You're talking really fast.
Wow.
I spilled some coffee earlier, and I'm making sure you can't.
So is it down your throat?
I took an energy pill. No, I'm kidding. All right, let's get to it here. The president had a very scary warning about the nuclear threat posed by Russia in Ukraine. If you haven't heard, at a fundraiser last night in New York, the president said the risk of nuclear Armageddon is the highest since the Cuban Missile Crisis all the way back in 1962. I'm sure some of you remember that. Biden also said Russian President Vladimir Putin was, quote, not joking about using nuclear weapons in Ukraine. Now, if you don't know, the word Armageddon is a great movie with Bruce Willis.
Yes.
Fantastic
Every
movie.
Saturday.
You'll cry
in the
for
summer.
You will cry all day, but it's also biblical, and it means actually the final battle between good and evil. So having lived through the Cold War, how are y'all feeling about this world again that has this threat hanging over our heads? And what do you think about him saying it at a fundraiser? What do you think, Al?
I think it should be taken seriously. I think that we all thought, Jeff, that Russia, we look at it on a map, just eyeballing it, and you see how big Ukraine is, and we're like, well, this won't take long. And what happened is Ukraine, every headline I read, is handing Russia its rear end on a platter every battle that they have, retaking territories that Russia had initially taken. And I don't think a former KGB leader, a proud Russian, fighter, like, autocrat like
right.
Putin, is going to have the last memory on his record be a loss. And that's scary to me, because I really do think that North Korea will use this as the posture. They'll fire some missiles into the ocean. I sadly think that Russia is serious about this threat.
Yeah, you have to think it's serious for all the reasons you just said, right? Like, this is a man with a lot of pride. Let's put it, that's a nice way to say that, right? And he doesn't like to lose. So the only way he wins is if he starts launching, which aren't these nuclear missiles, like, let's be clear, that aren't going to blow up the whole world, but they're going to cause major destruction and damage. Twofold. I have so many things to say about this. One, if he fires missiles or nuclear missiles onto Ukraine, if you look at the map and you follow the jet stream, those fumes are going to come back on Russia. So I don't know if the people know about that or think about that. Like, that's going to affect Russian citizens itself at the hands of this man's pride, right? And I don't know anything about politics or things like that. Two, if they do fire nuclear weapons, which is a possibility, does the U.S. get involved because Ukraine is still not part of the UN, but are we now going to be part of a nuclear war with Russia because they dropped a couple missiles on Ukraine?
I think we might, because it'll eventually start to affect people that we are in the UN with. I mean, if you know anything about Chernobyl, one of the reasons that it really even came out, because Russia was just going to kind of keep it under their hat.
Yeah, they were.
They were not going to say anything.
They were going to tell about the fallout.
And, what happened was they started to, people, I think it was like, Sweden and Norway were like, hey, we're starting to get these radioactive clouds, sup with that.
Yeah.
And so, eventually we are going to have allies that are going to be pulled into this, even if it's just geographically why they're being pulled in. And once that happens, everybody's involved. And once Russia fires one nuclear weapon, you might as well fire all of them, because there is going to be retaliation. It's not going to stop at just one.
Can I pose one more counterpoint to this?
Please.
Here's another concern of mine, right? Wartime presidents. Biden's not really looking great right now, okay? Whatever side you're on, it's just the truth. His approval rating is down. Wartime presidents' approval ratings seem to be up. I hope the U.S. is not using this in some way and making it a bigger threat than it actually is. Again, I think it's very serious and take it serious. I just hope this is not for political purposes, ramping this up and saying, I'm your president, I'm going to defend the United States, and start using some issues to lift his approval rating. I have to put that out there because it's a concern of mine.
Yeah, you're a citizen of this country. You can put out anything you want. I honestly think that we learned as a country, as a whole, with how we got out of Afghanistan terribly, but the one thing we can agree on is everybody was ready to get out of there. We knew that our occupation there, we could no longer be kind of brainwashed like, oh, we're setting up a democracy. Stop it.
No, it's not working.
War is not as popular as it used to be because we know more now.
Yeah,
We've seen our sons and our daughters come home after these wars that we were all championing, going into countries that had nothing to do with it, and we realized it's not funny anymore. We don't hear late night hosts cracking jokes about that anymore. So I am for sure, one thing, nobody is as excited about war as we were, say, maybe even 30 or 40 years ago.
Remember bombs over Baghdad where it was like, let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's not forget this president has a son that died because of cancer, allegedly from burn pits, while he was a soldier.
Right.
So I think he takes it very seriously. I also think the word Armageddon was chosen. I think it is meant to make us aware. It wasn't done in an official setting at the White House, so it's trickling down, but we should be aware. I would not laugh at Putin. I would not call his bluff. I would not. All right, speaking of the president, his son, Hunter, could be facing some federal charges. Multiple sources are reporting that the FBI and IRS believe there is enough evidence to charge Hunter Biden with tax crimes and making false statements on a gun purchase. The investigation into the president's son has been going on since 2018. The decision on whether to charge him lies with a Trump-nominated attorney in Delaware. Now, Hunter's lawyer is calling the leak, quote, inherently biased, one-sided, and inaccurate. But the question we're asking you is, should he be charged? And if he doesn't get charged, does that not reek of some kind of special treatment for the president's son? Jeff, what do you think?
I'm going to throw it back to you because this is your favorite topic, and you haven't really heard from you. So what do you think about all this?
We've been doing good so far.
Yeah, me and Al have been hogging your favorite topic. It's like your Christmas and you haven't even opened a present yet.
Hanukkah. No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's
see?
okay.
You put up a tree.
I put up a tree.
Yes.
One, of course, if he's done any of these things, he should be charged and convicted if it's right. Of course. But the main thing I want to say here is the difference between what people say is Trump's son and Biden's son is Trump put his sons and daughter in the administration. So they had some power. Hunter doesn't have any power. He's just a dude doing bad things that unfortunately has, I think, a drug problem. So there's a difference.
Do you think?
Yeah. But there's a difference of abuse of power for me as opposed to someone in the White House doing that and someone not in the White House. But I do think if he's done it, he's got to be charged. He has to be charged.
But it's a.
Otherwise, it will reek of nepotism. Absolutely.
Everything is nepotism, though. So I mean, the bigger issue to me is this is a person that has, like you said, no power. And when I see Hunter Biden,
but
and I see
I don't know if I'd say that. He definitely has influence if he wants it, especially for business purposes outside the country or allegedly
very true.
Things. So it's not like he's a nobody.
No,
I mean, he definitely has influence.
He's writing that last name for
sure.
Of course, like he's like Tommy Boy, but he's not. It's not. He can't run the factory. You saw what he's glued his head to the.
Right.
He's not a dude. So it's like, yes, some people like Ivanka has power. She was in meetings with.
She was at the UN meetings.
And she carried herself accordingly. She was fine.
But she was not meant to be there. Who was she?
But she was there. That's the issue. Hunter Biden has gone through periods where he was on Instagram allegedly, with my eyes, doing drugs with people that were people of the street walking. I'll just leave it at that.
Allegedly with my eyes.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say it, but I saw the video.
Walking people.
There's nothing wrong with it,
No, agreed. Again, if he's dirty, he should be charged. I just think there's a difference of power before we go on. Coming up on DBL, we got Dr. Cole. Street walking. She's joining us in the studio. We're chatting about allegedly with my eyes.
We're covered all the bases.
Hillary Swank's recent pregnancy announcement with twins at age 48. Plus, oh yes, he's back. Kanye goes on Tucker Carlson and does not hold back. What did he have to say about the White Lives Matter shirt?
Closed captioning provided by.
I'm easily tickled, y'all. It doesn't take much.
We're going to sit here and be right.
I know y'all going to be mad at me, but I'm just telling you the truth.
You can smirk all you want. You don't have to tell me to go.
Brad Pitt. Looking at this and everyone's saying, my eyes, like Al said.
This isn't something that he was really hiding his lifestyle. It's like, Tori, we're laughing, but like I see everybody's son and daughter that has had, a bad go of it with drugs and alcohol, and just like how that could be used to hurt you in business, but it's just like that's somebody's son. Couldn't imagine.
Okay, so here's the other thing I wanted to ask you guys. Do you think the sort of, and I say this respectfully, casual way that he said it, Al, can you hear me?
Yeah.
The casual way he said it at a fundraiser, instead of in the East Room or the Map Room or the Oval Office of the White House, makes a difference in how you take the message. And if it was like, we are in nuclear Armageddon at the East Room of the White House, I'd be like, ah! But since he said it at a fundraiser, I'm just like, ah! Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, I don't.
Because I think they chose to do it in that setting.
Because he can't do it the other way. Because
otherwise, you're going to start.
Everybody else.
Yeah, you're going to freak us out.
Tank the economy.
Yeah.
You know.
And I also think Biden is not a hawk guy. If you don't know what a hawk is, it means someone who loves war. So like people have said,
or somebody that
George
doesn't
Bush,
love
Hillary
hawks.
Clinton, or they don't like. Who doesn't like a hawk though? If I could be any animal, eagle or hawk, any animal. Eagle.
I think a hawk.
Eagle. Soaring like an eagle?
Eagles are like Harleys, like they're slow. Hawks are like they see a turtle on the ground.
You mean they're more aggressive?
Yeah.
Okay, question to you guys out there: if you could be a hawk or an eagle,
or a falcon. Why is a falcon out of it?
I said eagle too.
Kelly, what's the difference between a falcon and a hawk? Can you look that up?
Maybe they're talons.
Probably the
something
size.
with talons.
One's a football team, one's a basketball team.
Maybe something with my talent. Welcome back. He's not gone. Kanye West sat down with Fox News host Tucker Carlson for a wide-ranging interview where he did address the controversy over wearing a White Lives Matter t-shirt at his Paris fashion show this week. Kanye said the decision to wear the shirt was based on a, quote, gut instinct. But as an artist, he said he doesn't have to give an explanation. As for the controversy, Kanye said it stems from the idea of a black man wearing something he wasn't supposed to wear. Okay, Kanye linked this latest backlash to his support for former President Trump. Let's take a look together.
They basically said that I would be killed for wearing the hat. I had someone call me last night and said anybody wearing a White Lives Matter shirt is going to be greenlit, and that means that they're going to beat them up if they wear it. And I'm like, okay, green light me then.
What's going on? What's going on?
Has he been lifting?
That's what you're worried about?
No, he looks a little bigger.
I noticed that too.
Yeah.
You guys are such men.
Yeah.
What about the content of everything?
Did you guys watch any of this?
I did. I watched a lot of it. The White Lives Matter thing, I thought it was funny, and it was a gut instinct, and I thought it was reprehensible what he said about it.
Listen, I watched the first 2 blocks or whatever, this morning, and you ask that guy a question, and he's got 3 different answers in 3 different universes. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's fascinating, but it's also like you're watching a train wreck.
Exactly.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So you kind of want to listen to what or watch what he's saying and listen, because I was like, he makes sense maybe, but are you crazy?
Right.
He threw out Tanya Harding at one point, and I was like, oh, he's going to bring up and he's like, well, Tanya Harding, when she did a triple axel, I'm like, that's where you went with Tanya Harding?
It's like watching someone implode.
And then he's just like, my mom was an actress, so she's a liberal. And just throwing things out. So it's hard to I don't want to make a light of this because it is a serious issue, and you were so great at explaining it yesterday. But Kanye's a person. It's like I'm intrigued, and it's so many emotions when I watch him.
And it's hard to follow.
Yeah, and I want to get to this and ask you this. Kanye also dished on his ex, Kim. Kanye said even though Kim is a Christian, she is often overly sexualized by the fashion world. He took issue with her Skims underwear marketing being too sexy. What do you think about that, Al, going after the mother of his children, who, as he said, 80% of the time is raising his children?
Right. I mean, well, it's par for the course for what we've seen from him. He goes back and forth with Kim. Sometimes he talks about how terrible her fashion is. Sometimes he talks about how great of a mother she is, and she wants to get back with the family. He makes songs about "I want to be your dad again," and then attacks her online and her family. Like you said, Jeff, this is the hardest. This is harder to talk about than a nuclear war because at least you can follow a linear path.
Right.
With Kanye, it's like you're going down a path, and then he just starts jump roping and goes backwards. It's hard to follow him. So this is just yet another attack on his wife and therefore his children. And I just really worry about them going forward, like all the things they're going to read that their dad said about their mom. Because just because they're rich and famous doesn't mean that will not affect them. It most certainly will.
It will, and I bet there'll be lawsuits. Kanye wasn't done. He also brought in Lizzo. He said the media is using her to reinforce the idea that being overweight is a good thing. Take a look.
When Lizzo loses 10 pounds and announces it, the bots, they attack her for losing weight because the media wants to put out a perception that being overweight is the new goal when it's actually unhealthy.
What, can I ask?
Yeah.
I've noticed this also.
Yeah.
Why do you think they would want to promote unhealthiness among the population?
It's a genocide of the black race. They want to kill us in any way they can.
What do you think of that?
So here's the thing. There's actually a lot of insight there.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Do you see what I'm?
there's
It
truth in
sounds
that.
crazy, but it's like he has a point.
Yeah, like there's a point there,
Yeah.
but the rest of the message is missed because of other things he says. And that to me is Kanye. He says something cool and then it'll be like slavery's a choice. So to me at this point, he's a troll.
Yeah,
at this point, it's troll. And I don't want to give him any more public platform.
But here's the thing. Again, I'm not sticking up for Kanye. It's just a conversation in particular, that one,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
He does have a point. And we have Dr. Coley coming up, and we could ask her, and I don't mean to put her on the spot. Is it unhealthy? The answer is yes.
Right.
Okay.
But is it about the genocide of the black people?
And then you go to that, and then it's a whole different universe of conversation, right? But he goes against the grain, Kanye. And I think anything that people tell him he can't do, he specifically goes out and does.
I agree with that.
And finds a reason in his universe that he needs to do it.
I agree with that. I think he obsesses over it.
Yeah, and it's, I don't know, it's fascinating and irritating all at the same time.
It's very weird.
Yeah, I mean,
like
somebody said don't wear a White Lives Matter shirt, and here we are doing the story.
Yeah, right, exactly. He does what he's told not to do. Interesting. Let us know what you think. We'll be right back.
Suffer from pain?
We're in the heat of midterm election season, which means you're probably seeing campaign ads everywhere. One of our viewers, Teresa, had a question about music used in those commercials. Do candidates always need to get permission from musical artists to use their songs in ads? Teresa, let's verify. Our sources are the American Society of Composers, Authors, and Publishers, or ASCAP, and Daniel Schacht, a music law attorney. In the U.S., music is protected by copyright. If you want to use a song in an ad, you need to get a license. And just like the Grammys have separate awards for the songwriting process and the performance piece of that song, music licenses are similar.
There's the copyright to the recording itself. Whoever performed the recording or the record label will own that specific recording. And then whoever wrote the music, there's a composition copyright. So the songwriters will typically own that.
Fights and delivers for our district.
To use music in a campaign ad or any other video, you've got to get both licenses. ASCAP says to get them, campaigns have to reach out to whoever holds the rights for individual songs. So who is that? Well, it depends. Some musicians hold all their rights. Some share them with labels or co-writers. Others have sold their rights away entirely. If the artist still owns their rights, then yes, a campaign would need their approval to use a song. If they don't own them, it's up to whoever does. So although many artists have a say in who can get to use their music, we can verify, no, candidates don't always need permission from musicians to use their songs in ads. They only need to obtain a license, which can be controlled by anyone, although it is often the artist. With your Verify, I'm Casey Decker.
Welcome back to DBL. There are quite a few health headlines making the rounds. So what do? We bring in Dr. Jackson. Just
Yes,
kidding.
all right.
A real doctor, Dr. Coley, to break them down. Hi, Dr.
Hey,
Coley.
Doc.
Good to see you.
Yes.
How you doing?
I like that color on you, Doc. You're glowing.
Thank you.
You're glowing
Thank
today.
you.
All right, I just said that to soften you up because I got a hard question. All right, so I want to get your medical opinion on Hilary Swank's pregnancy, right? The actress recently revealed she is expecting twins. She's 48 years old. Wow, that's amazing. Yes, for her. What is the risk for someone for her age? Does it matter that she's having twins? What are the complications?
So I want to start by congratulating Hilary.
Mazel.
Yes, very excited for her and her family. But from a medical perspective, guys, this is not a good idea. I have a lot of concerns about her risk, about the baby's risk, and the fact that they're twins. So think about when our body is designed to carry pregnancy, in our teens and our 20s. And our eggs get old, so the risk of chromosomal abnormalities goes way, way high. And also
Starting
the risk
at about what age would you, like, roughly?
early 30s. You know?
Wow.
This is so depressing. No,
Yeah.
I appreciate it. What if she had
We need a music bed under this.
I mean, no. What if she'd had embryos frozen? Would that have helped earlier on?
It would have helped because it freezes the clock on the eggs.
Right.
But there's new data coming out. The frozen embryo transfers are linked to high blood pressure in pregnancy. So it's not just the baby, but mom is not designed to carry pregnancy in her late 40s. So the risk of preeclampsia, gestational diabetes, preterm labor, baby can even have learning disabilities. And then if you've got two pregnancies on top of that, which are higher risk even in your 20s, then you have even more risk for complications. So I wish them the best, but I'm really concerned. And I do think as we start thinking about geriatric pregnancies and advanced maternal age, we need to redefine the culture.
Yeah.
Everything is not possible at every age, and we need to make it okay. If you're older, you can't carry the pregnancy. Maybe you get a surrogate or something else if you want to be a mom.
And that she has all the medical needs at her fingertips because financially she's there.
The resources are all there. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. We've reported on this story last week, and I wanted to get to you. Katie Couric revealing she has breast cancer. A little follow-up here in her post, and many women out there know what I'm talking about. Katie talks about having dense breasts. And if you don't know what that is, I'm going to have you explain a couple questions. How common is that? And next, how would a woman know? And does it matter with cancer?
It's really common. 45 to 50% of us women have dense breasts. Now, Tori, let me ask you, do you know the density of your breasts?
It's fabulous. I don't know.
That's what it said on my chart.
The point I want to make is you can't tell by size, you can't tell by feeling. The only way to know the density of your breasts is on an X-ray and a mammogram. So your doctor has to tell you, and if they don't, you have to ask them to tell you. And the reason that it's important is half of us may have dense breasts, and women with dense breasts don't just have a higher risk of breast cancer because they have more of that fibroglandular tissue, but they have more challenges in detecting it because you're looking for a white cancer in a white background.
Oh, I see.
When you have dense breasts. When you have fatty breasts, you have a black background, so the cancer pops out a little bit more.
Can I feel it if I have dense breasts as a female? No, you can't feel it.
So you have to know because you may need additional screening based on your underlying risk. So of those 45 to 50% that have dense breasts, if your risk of breast cancer is at least intermediate or high, you actually need to follow up with an ultrasound or an MRI, which most of us don't know.
That's huge, huge, huge. Don't be embarrassed. Ask. Katie Couric is trying to make it normalized for us. Take it and run with it. DBL Nation, if you have questions for us, write us. Your question could be one we answer on air. As always, Dr. Coley, you are glowing. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Next week on DBL, Dr. Drew Pinsky stops by to join us on the panel live. Plus, we're jam-packed with celebrity guests Danny DeVito, Rita Wilson, Leslie Jordan, and Queer Eye's Bobby Burke. That's all next week on DBL. You don't want to miss a day.
In the weeks leading up to the spookiest night of the year, many local news reporters and police departments warned parents about people potentially tampering with their kids' Halloween candy. And that left parents wondering what could end up in their kids' trick-or-treat bag. From razor blades to needles, even marijuana-laced candy. But is there any truth to these claims? Let's verify. Are legitimate reports of contaminated Halloween candy common? Our sources include 4 police departments, a criminal justice professor, and the National Confectioners Association. The National Confectioners Association ran a Halloween candy hotline from 1982 to 2012 for police and poison control centers to report contaminated candy in the U.S. In an email to Verify, an NCA spokesperson confirmed they no longer track these reports, but, quote, agree anecdotally that these are typically isolated, rare, false reports and/or hoaxes, unquote. Joel Best, a sociology and criminal justice professor at the University of Delaware, has researched reports of Halloween candy tampering in the U.S. dating back to the 1950s.
I can't find any evidence that any child has ever been killed or seriously hurt by a contaminated treat picked up in the course of trick-or-treating.
The Verify team reached out to several police departments across the country that had previously received reports of potentially contaminated Halloween candy in the last decade. Just last month, the Bensalem Police Department in Pennsylvania confiscated 50 marijuana-laced edibles from a man that intended to sell them within the state. The edibles mimicked popular snack brands. According to Frederick Herron, director of public safety for the Bensalem Police Department, the incident was not connected to Halloween. Nevertheless, the department warned parents to keep an eye out for these look-alike bags this Halloween. Herron told Verify this warning was out of an abundance of caution. He confirmed that the Bensalem Police Department hasn't received any reports of contaminated Halloween candy being given to kids in the past. In 2015, police in Winchester, Indiana, received reports about a razor blade found in a candy bar. That same year, needles were reportedly found in Halloween candy in Blackwood, New Jersey. According to local police, both reports were determined to be hoaxes. There are some legitimate claims out there. According to the Waterbury Police Department in Connecticut, back in 2019, a man was arrested after parents found razor blades at the bottom of their kids' trick-or-treat bags. Police confirmed the children were not injured or hurt. Waterbury PD says it is not aware of any incidents prior or since that incident occurred. So we can verify that no, legitimate reports of contaminated Halloween candy are not common. According to the National Safety Council, it's cars, not candy, that pose the biggest threat to kids on Halloween. Their data indicates children are more than twice as likely to be hit or killed by a car on Halloween than any other day of the year. With your Verify, I'm Ariane Till. Are you skeptical of headlines and what you see on social media? We are too. The Verify newsletter helps you distinguish between true and false information by answering your questions. It provides fast facts on trending topics, spotlights major stories, and even includes a daily fun fact for all those trivia buffs out there. Get Verify's fast facts delivered every weekday to your email inbox. Go to verifythis.com/email to check it out.
Welcome back. If you're one of the many people recovering from Hurricane Ian or just someone who wants to help, you could be the newest target for scammers. It's time for a Security Alert sponsored by LifeLock. First, be on the lookout for imposter scammers. Verify anyone claiming to be a safety inspector, a government official, or a utility worker. Spot FEMA impersonators charging application fees by downloading that FEMA mobile app to get alerts and information. Do not fall for home improvement scams. Scammers are posing as contractors promising quick repairs or cleanup services, so it's a red flag if they ask for cash up front. If your information has been breached, LifeLock is here to help. LifeLock keeps you and your digital identity secure from cyber criminals. Call 1-800-953-0836 or visit lifelock.com to learn more. I found out my email was on the dark web.
Really?
Yeah, from LifeLock.
Well, yeah, I get those too. Like
Yeah.
I've had LifeLock forever, and it's important. Like,
Yeah.
you do get alerts like, hey, somebody's trying to use your card. It's happened twice.
Does it have anything to do with the ads that you post on there?
Maybe.
Hey there. Supposed to have a direct link to the dark web.
I'm a host on Daily Blast Live. You'd like to talk.
I'm also very bored to have you friends. DBL is new every day. We will see you same time, same place Monday, right?
Yes.
Not tomorrow. And also, please be good to yourself. Self-compassion is underrated. And may I also say, Jeff's leaving. Goodbye to David. It is his last day, and we love you.
David, we love you.
Oh, David!